Hey guys, I'm Mike with Show and Tell Tech. This is
Devin, and welcome to our podcast, episode 1 of Show and Tech.
so today is, of course, the first episode. We're actually going to be going over a piece of tech that each of us brought. Talk a little bit about them, shoot some questions back and forth. Give you some general applications you can use them for. Kind of just dig into some of the specifications and stuff, and just talk about cool tech.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm going over today is a piece of tech that is you wouldn't really think would be, tech related, but everything's tech related. And like we said, we're going to be going over all sorts of tech. So this is very applicable in like if you're running a PC tech repair business or if you're in the IT department for a company, something like that. And that is mini leaf blowers.
Oh, dang.
So if you're like me and you have terrible character trait flaws that make you want to buy the best of everything, well, that's what this is. This is an electric air duster. So of course, a lot of y'all know if you have done any PC repair tech or y'all, been told by tech support, hey, blow your computer out. You got to go, like Walmart or somewhere and buy air duster, which can get expensive if you have to do it multiple times. Well, that's where this comes in. This is an electric air duster. You just plug it in and it does all the job that canned air duster does without a lot of the cons that the canned air duster does.
Cool.
So when I say this is mini leaf blower, I'm not kidding. It has a motor in it that can get almost up to leaf blower speeds.
That's pretty crazy.
It is. It's insane. And it sounds like a train moving through the room whenever you turn it on. It literally sounds like a vacuum.
Well, we had that train go by a second ago, about like that.
Kind of, yeah. Like you might even need to use ear protection with it. But no, I mean, this is a really useful piece of tech. So these things range anywhere from $40 to $85.
Okay.
This is one of the higher end ones. This is a DataVac electric duster, DV500, I believe, ED500. And it's all metal. You can, bang this thing around, hit it on stuff, and it's gonna keep working. So it's got a bunch of extensions that come with it. One of my favorite is a little rubber piece that goes on the end of this nozzle. And that rubber piece allows you to reach into very odd positions, which is good for like when you're actually blowing out PCs.
Okay, so like getting into like your case fans real good.
Right, absolutely. Whatnot. Or if if you got a little space between your PSU or up behind a, Blu-ray drive or something in there, right. It can bend around and get into 90-degree angles. Really, really cool stuff. So a lot of the pros about this that I absolutely love is within the first year of me using this, because I do a lot of PC repair tech and PC building, repair some of my friends' stuff. I literally saved the amount of money that I spent on this just in duster cost alone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those things are expensive. Even like single cans, like just the cheap knockoff ones, they're going to go like $5 a can.
Absolutely. And I mean, let's be honest about them. Like when you use them, you get like a few good sprays out of them and they're done.
Right. And, I don't know about you, but like when I'm using a duster, cleaning up my computer, I get maybe 1 or 2 good cleans per can.
Yeah. I mean, small can, if you get some of the bigger cans that come in the 2-packs, which, usually get up into the $15 to $20 area, which can be a lot of money right there. You're talking about you get to clean 1.5 computers out with it before it's already given out on you.
Right. So, I mean, that adds up if you're, doing your diligence and trying to, clean up at least once a month.
Absolutely.
At the minimum. If you're using a can every 1 to 2 months, even at 2 months. So that's 6 cans a year.
Yep.
So, I mean, you've almost paid for this in a year.
Absolutely. And if you are in PC repair, like you run your own PC repair business or you're in a company, this will make up for itself in probably 2 months worth of owning it. Which is kind of a cool little thing you might be able to take to your boss and be like, hey, man, I figured out a way to save us some money. So, little bonus, we can get this and maybe put me a bonus on the end of the check.
Brad, good luck talking that into that.
Yeah, tell me about it. But, it's there. So It has 4 screws on it, and when you take this apart, it has 3 replaceable filters in it that it suggests you switch out every 2 to 3 uses. Me personally, filters are filters; they're going to work. I usually replace it every like 5 or 6 uses.
Sure.
Kind of push a little extra out of it. Another pro about this is it's not operated under compressed air.
Right.
So all of that chemical compound that you have inside of the air duster that causes it to get super cold and give you frostbite, like you were in a blizzard in the middle of Alaska,
Right.
that is no problem with this because it runs off the engine that's inside it.
Right. So, since you're not dealing with all those compressed air chemicals and whatnot, you don't have all that extra moisture you could actually end up building up too, and
Absolutely.
spewing out onto stuff, which is probably not going to hurt nothing. But I mean, you don't want moisture in your
Right,
computer,
absolutely. And
on your CPU or your graphics card.
generally what I tend to do if I ever have that happen, using the old dusters, you try and keep it straight, but sometimes that moisture still builds up and gets into the stream.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to like angle it or kind of turning it up. You don't want to turn an air duster.
No,
up on the side or
absolutely
upside
not.
down.
And that's another great thing about this is you can do this in any direction you want to. It's not going to do anything.
Right.
So, that moisture when it builds up and it can get onto an electronic component, if that ever happens, when I was using, I would wait at least 5-10 minutes before I actually booted it back up again because I want that moisture to dry off.
Right.
Moisture, of course, is never good. Some moisture can accumulate and that happens, but it's never good to have moisture on a system and turn it directly on because that could cause a short. So, like I said, I've saved a lot of money with this. And honestly, a lot of people don't realize who aren't as tech savvy as some other people that dust is a #1 killer on performance as well as PC components.
Right, for sure.
So with this, I save money. I do exactly what I need to. I get my PC performance back because once that dust starts to gunk up on heat sinks, fans, it can potentially cause a video card fan to just stop functioning completely.
Right. And same way like you were saying, you get all that buildup on that CPU heatsink, that heat gets trapped under that dust, and if the heatsink can't actually dissipate that heat with the airflow, if you got the dust on those fans, you ain't getting much airflow anyway.
Absolutely.
So you keep that stuff cleaned up, your stuff can run cooler, you get the most performance out of it, and it lives longer because it's not only the dust, it's that heat is what kills the lifespan of your electronics.
Yeah, especially CPUs, mother card or video cards produce a lot of heat.
I want a mother card. I don't know about you.
Yeah. But when they produce a lot of heat, some of that grease that goes into the components too heats up, and then that dust attaches to that, and then when it cools down, you've now created this complete unmovable gunk, which can cause a lot of overheating issues, and overheating issues can actually lead to software issues.
Right. Yeah. It could just end up causing a whole lot of problems when all you have to do was blow it out.
True enough. So that's my little baby right there, and that's my section.
And so the thing about it, so how much you said that was again for this one?
Okay, so for this one right here, I believe I paid $80 or $85 for it. I got it off of Newegg, which is where I get a lot of my tools and computer components, electronics.
Sure, yeah.
But pretty much any retailer sells them. Amazon has them. I think Walmart has them on their online site. So anywhere that really sells traditional duster should have this listed on it.
Cool, that's great. Yeah, I definitely gonna need to try to find one for myself. Because I definitely could use one.
It's definitely a worthwhile investment, especially for techie geeks like us who are always in and out of stuff. Even blowing out our 360 or blowing out our consoles, blowing out any type of electronics whatsoever. And honestly, the applications go farther than that too.
Think of like just like a wood shop or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't get your shop, your main shop vac into a good spot.
Right.
You could use this, blow out what you're trying to clean up,
Get those smaller, hard to reach areas.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could guarantee you I could walk out on the porch right now and use this as an actual leaf blower. So, there's that application too.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of different things you can do with it, not just tech related.
Cool. That's awesome. I like it. Good piece of tech you brought in there today, Mike.
Well, thank you.
All right. So I guess we'll go on to my piece that I brought in today. You've probably noticed it sitting here on the table this whole time. And what I've got here today is a Raspberry Pi 4. It's just a single board computer. That's what it is. It's a relatively cheap piece of equipment, but I think this is a 4 gigabyte model. They make multiple variants. They've got like a 2, 4, and 8 gig model.
Right.
I actually bought this one for I want to say I paid $70 or $80 as a in a
that's
kit.
not bad. Yeah.
And like kit, you can like go to Amazon and find this with a kit, case, power cable, and all that stuff for between 80, 90, $100, kind of depending on which variation and what's included in the kit and stuff. But what makes this so great is just how versatile it is.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm saying again. I hear myself doing it. But it has it's based on ARM processors, and it's a quad core CPU. I think this was clocked at about 1.8, 2 gigahertz, right in there.
Not too bad. Yeah.
Right. Got gigabit LAN, 2 USB 3.0 ports, 2 USB 2.0 ports, 3.5 millimeter audio jack.
Okay. Cool.
2 micro HDMI outputs. This thing can support up to 2 4K monitors.
That's actually kind of amazing.
It's pretty cool. There. USB-C power, and it's got a 40 pin interface. I don't use the pins that much. That's a whole nother topic that I'm not even that versed with.
Okay.
It's like there's people that do all kinds of stuff. You can hook up like little touchscreen monitors and whatnot and stuff like that.
Sweet.
They have one of these. I don't use it for this purpose, but one of these is a actual camera interface module.
Okay, awesome.
The Raspberry Pi has a official camera module that can go with this. You can make your own webcam or security cam or anything like that with it.
So that's an absolutely versatile little board there.
Right. The two main uses I've used it for myself. For myself personally, I set it up as like a retro gaming console.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I've gotten, it'll play NES, Super NES, N64 can be hit or miss depending on the game.
Right, okay.
Genesis, Dreamcast is kind of hit or miss. It plays PS1 games great.
Oh,
so if you've got a backlog of PS1 games.
No doubt.
And it's got like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built on, so you can just hook up a Bluetooth controller to it.
Yeah.
If you got like a PS4 or Xbox controller with your Bluetooth built in. I personally really like the 8-bit DOE wireless controllers. I use a SNES 30 Plus Pro. It's a mouthful, but it's a really great controller. And I have a blast, just hooking it up to the TV and playing with it. And a lot of the emulators have where you can put like little scan lines and kind of recreate that CRT look.
Yeah. So kind of give it the retrograde look to it.
Right. But it's a really great piece of thing to run with. And Raspberry Pi organization actually built out and put out their own like Linux desktop experience for it.
Okay. So, all right, going into Linux.
Yeah, so you could load that up and literally use this as a little mini desktop replacement.
Wow.
So, it's great for just, if you just need something to do email, a little word processing, watch some, standard definition YouTube or whatnot on there. It's a great thing for that.
Well, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, traditionally, what I've seen Raspberries used for is in the gaming sector, of course, what you were talking about. My brother built one for his kids, and I was actually looking at building one pretty soon, too, for my kids, because it's just a small little piece of tech. You can put it in your pocket, take it with you, hook it up at your friend's house, or, hook it up to the TV for your kiddos to, introduce them to some of the retro games that you played.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then, it just unhooks and you just set it up on the TV console or, put it in your room. It doesn't have a lot of bad hookup. You're not running a ton of wires everywhere. It's just a couple things and you're good to go.
Right.
So, so some of the cool things that I took off of that was like the Bluetooth, and you've got the like full 2K and stuff. There's a
Yeah.
lot of applications you could do with that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just a great thing you could do with it. I mean, I've seen lots of cool projects and stuff with it. Um, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. It would just be specific to Bluetooth related. But like back to like some gaming related things, people like made up like their own little arcade cabinets with these things.
Nice, yeah, absolutely.
Something I did for my mom with an older board, the Raspberry Pi 3 that I had laying around. I set it up as a media server. So,
Okay,
that
yeah,
way, for her to have at her house, we put got all her movies onto her hard drive, got the hard drive hooked up to it, hooked it up to the TV, and
yeah.
it's all HDMI, CDC compliant and whatnot. So, just use your TV remote to control the interface and just use it as a media server.
I mean, that's pretty legit right there. You're talking about, so you've got like gaming applications, you set it up as a media server. That's pretty cool. But even, it's amazing to think of how far we've come with all of these things that you can do with this small thing.
Oh yeah,
A
we're
lot
not
of
even
us,
scratching the
right,
surface.
absolutely. A lot of us come from like a time when you had to have this huge desktop rig just to do any type of word processing.
Mm-hmm.
And now to think that we've come to this small thing that you can take with you on the go to use as sort of a little mini desktop where you can do your basic, workload
Right.
anywhere you are, basically.
Right. And I've seen crazier stuff. I've seen people I'm not sure the exact application they were using for, but set these up in like a parallel like server stack.
Whoa, that's
Yeah,
pretty
it's like
cool.
crazy, actually combining the power of like
Yeah,
four or five of these things
yeah.
in a stack and just crazy stuff. I mean, you can do almost anything with these things.
Well, that's a cool little chip.
I mean, if you can program, which I'm not super versed into like programming or whatnot, but if you can program, there's so much stuff you can do with these things for,
Absolutely. Yeah.
the price that they are.
Well, those are, I mean, that's a lot of cool little uses. So a couple quick questions.
Sure.
On the, uh, what's like the, so to speak, backwards compatibility with these things? When you buy them, you can buy them in the kits and stuff like that. But what about like if you're tech geeks like us and you like to get the next generation and see how much smoother it runs and things like that?
Yeah, yeah. Just buy another kit for the new board.
Okay.
Essentially,
Okay.
because a lot of the stuff, it's just the boards. In each iteration, they can change dimensionally a little bit or
Okay.
whatnot.
Right. So
So
they're kind of like laptops and they
right,
each
yeah,
one's
just like any computer,
manufactured for a certain way.
Unless you're like building like a case where it's all standard
Right.
sizes and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, just buy a new one. But like you don't even really need to do that because if you get one and it's working for your application that you've got it on, just leave that project on it is because it's running. It'll run
Right,
forever. Start a new project with a newer board.
True. Okay. All right. Cool. Um, well, that's about. I mean, that's about all the questions I have. That's a pretty cool little piece of technology.
Right.
I mean, it's very well versed in the
Right.
different things it can do.
And tons of different companies do up those little kits and whatnot. You can find these on Amazon, eBay, from the Raspberry Pi website itself. And you can, like I said, get them for about $70 to $100, depending on the kit and where you're getting it from and whatnot. So, but what I'll do is I'll put a couple links, in the description of the
Okay. Cool.
video,
Yeah,
so
somewhere
people
down
can just
here.
click on them and find them out and whatnot. That's about all I got for that thing today.
All right. One more thing.
Sure.
You said it has the Ethernet on it. Clearly, you said
Yes.
the Ethernet port. So would that? I noticed some of the emulators of the older games, like the Pokemon games, that ended up actually being like linkable. Does it take any type? Are you able to take any type of advantage of features like that?
That kind of feature, it's going to depend on the emulator. If
Okay.
the emulator can sync up with
Right.
another game like that, communicate. But yeah, they definitely could do that. I mean, they can do that over Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
Sweet.
I mean, you don't even have to have them like physically connected. I know I've seen some of them. I've never tried it myself.
Right.
But I mean, like I know that you can do that.
Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, these things have always been very interesting. I've always been very interested in them. I don't have as much experience, unfortunately, but that's a lot of cool little things you can do with that box.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's definitely it's fun, and like say you ever wanted to try Linux,
Right. Yeah.
but I mean, always actually the easiest way to try Linux is put it on a USB drive, plug it in your computer, and literally run it off a USB drive.
Right. Yeah.
But if you want to like have something where you can get in there, code, maybe accidentally break something,
No problem. It's on.
right?
It's on a
It's great. This is a great way to like start learning Linux,
kind of teach yourself. Yeah.
and
Low costs.
it's extremely low cost. It's something to get into. And when you get into playing with Linux more, there's so many different things you can do with different versions of Linux. It's really fun, and I still need to learn more myself. And I know that was the main reason I actually bought this.
Gotcha. Yeah, and see, that would actually be perfect for me too. Because I could do that and start teaching myself Linux and start diving into the Linux side of things. And then turn around, and when I'm done, messing with Linux and learning some stuff, I can turn around and turn it into a video game emulator for my kiddos.
Right. Sure can.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. So thanks for bringing that in. I mean, that was a great piece of tech.
Yeah. So hopefully the next thing I can bring in will be just as cool, hopefully.
Well, tech is tech, like we say.
Yeah, it's hit or miss.
Everything's cool. It has its all purposes.
Yeah, we should bring in like some really crappy pieces of tech for an episode sometime.
Right.
Be like, why did I buy this?
What not to do with tech? Yeah.
Right. That'd be a great episode, I think. So so make sure you hit like and subscribe so you stay tuned for that, because that'll be definitely something we can do.
Yeah. So like help us take this off. We've got a lot of cool things we want to do with the channel, and we just love bringing tech to you guys, talking about it, talking back and forth between each other. We're a couple of geeks and nerds, and just love doing what we do. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, of course,
hit that little notification bell.
There you go. And help us grow this. Help us bring some cool stuff to you.
Yeah, and definitely, hit us up in the comments. We'll try to keep an eye on the comments, reply, tell us, something you'd like to see, or, maybe something we could do with the channel, because I mean we're definitely open to ideas.
Absolutely,
from just branching off of a podcast too.
Absolutely.
So
questions. If y'all have any question about a certain piece of tech that we have some information about, we'll be glad to answer some questions and bring some of that information to y'all.
Yeah.
Just all sorts of cool stuff we want to do with this. Maybe even some guests at some point. Bring in some guests to talk about some cool stuff. So sky's the limit, guys. We're hoping you like our stuff and we can bring more to you.
All right. I guess that's it for the day. So good.
This is Show and Tell Tech. I'm Mike.
Devin. Good talking with y'all today, and y'all have a great day.